Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Banter. I'm Tucker, joined by my illustrious and late night golf and co-host, Abram Buhner. And today we're going to be talking about golf, Mario Golf, to be specific, a Super Rush version of Mario Golf TV, even more specific. But if you want to talk to us about Mario Golf, about video games, about fucking anything, and the God's blue moon, join our Discord. Link is in the description. Subscribe, like the video, get all that nonsense out of the way so you can join us on our golfing journey, because we're both on our way to becoming golf masters. But Abram, as a real life golf player yourself versus me, I think you're probably on your way there significantly more than I am.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is this an opportunity to tell you my opening thoughts about the game?
Yes.
Okay. I like it a lot. I'm of a couple different minds with this game, right? Because I think going into it, what I wanted most was for Camelot to learn its lessons from Mario Tennis Aces, and I think they both have and haven't.
Sure.
And keep in mind, we're both very early on. We both finished the first world of the Golf Adventure, so these are first impressions.
Yes,
We'll
these
be
are
back.
all early impressions.
Yes, we'll be back either on BLB, our weekly show where we talk about the games we're playing, or in a dedicated review to talk about it once we've finished playing. But right now, I think it's a lot of fun. I think it is clearly a B-tier effort from Nintendo and
Sure.
Camelot.
Yeah.
But I think that core gameplay is great, and I think what they built around it, in terms of adventure mode particularly, is more ambitious than I expected, more fun than I expected.
Okay.
It is a big step up from where we were in Aces, and as someone who has played a lot of Mario sports games, love Mario Tennis, love Mario Baseball, played some Strikers, Mario Golf was the one blind spot for me, so inherently I think this experience is going to feel a little bit fresher for me. But I think that what Camelot has introduced in terms of the new core mechanics and what they built around it so far feels pretty good.
All right, so I've got a lot of things to go through here. I have not beaten the first world. I was like, okay, is this the qualifying thing that you were talking about? I have played it 5 times and I can't get through that qualifying round of Bonnie Greens.
Wait, because you keep losing?
Yes, I got like +7,
Oh,
+6.
well, just golf
I
better.
I can't do it. Number 2, never played a golf game except for like maybe Wii Sports when I was like 10.
Same here.
3, I hate real life golf. I think it's fucking boring and stupid.
Okay.
And 4, I don't think this game is any fun whatsoever. I think video game golf sucks. I think this game has absolutely no fucking Mario charm to make me want to get in there. It's sterile. All the fucking little guys are just using golf terminology that goes way over my head, and I can't fucking understand what you're saying. There's no way to ease yourself in except for do basic ass fucking practice that you get 100% on every fucking time, and then they throw you straight into a thing where it just is so overwhelming. It's not welcoming to new players, and there's absolutely no fucking charm. The adventure mode is just copy and paste character models over bland fucking text and simple environments. I have no idea why I would even want to invest any more time in this game. There's no hook whatsoever, and it's fucking boring.
Now, I appreciate your passion, but I think that this game might just not be for you because I kind of fundamentally disagree on a lot of those points. Um, and you'll give me a little one of those eyes, and I'll try to explain it to the best of my ability to kind of maybe extend the olive branch that you feel the game isn't giving you. But I think that it's very inviting in a lot of ways. First of all, it's very much tutorialized. So if your problem is with the core gameplay, I think they one thing I felt is that they keep telling you to go practice, keep practice, do practice. There's a lot of different practice options, which I skipped because, frankly, I think I didn't find it too complicated, but that's my personal experience. I think that the game does do a nice job of giving you a lot of tutorialized options, but I think that the fact that you get to play as your me in this pretty open 3D environment to explore is really inventive and a big step up from what we have seen in a lot of other Mario sports storylines. I think it's very cool that we get to see all of these characters and we're in these environments where it's more than just, let's go to the golf course, let's play a round of golf, let's see a cutscene, let's play the next round of golf. Even things like the adventure in Mario Super Sluggers, which I enjoy quite a bit, is kind of sterile. It's an overworld. You're selecting things on a map. You're kind of walking around an overworld. But this is a full environment to explore. And yeah, it's a lot of Mario enemies, but there's a charm to seeing them contextualized in this way. And I do think that there is something satisfying here in the fact that Camelot has made golf, like they did with tennis and aces, more than just hitting the club walking to the ball, hitting it again. When you're playing golf and you're running between, I think that's a ton of fun. I think that is an inventive way to add action elements into what is otherwise a very simple sport. So I kind of fundamentally disagree. I think that this game, more than other golf games, gives people who don't care about the sport a reason to try it, because it is not just about let's get me wedge out and let's get the angle right. It's about here's
Sure.
let's explore this area, let's run between holes, let's knock each other's balls out of the way, let's try to draft each other to run up the green. Like, these are interesting ideas that go beyond what you think of when you think of either a Tiger Woods PGA golf
Sure.
or even a Mario Toadstool tour or something where it is just hit, go, simple and done. I think Camelot did a lot here.
Okay. I hear those points, and I will extend to you many olive branches. There's gonna be olive branches flying back and
Okay.
forth. Some are gonna be cut in half. Some of them have like really dried leaves. They're not gonna be great olive branches, but they'll be there nonetheless.
Sure.
Speed golf is actually inventive. I think it's
Yeah.
a step up. I think it allows you to see these environments in a more interesting way. I do like that. I have honestly nothing against speed golf. I think that's a pretty objective upgrade. My issue with the adventure mode and the overworld, of course, I've only seen Bonnie Green, is that it's not that it's not a step up from just a level select or
Yeah.
no map whatsoever, but it is the absolute bare minimum for a hub world, for world design, for putting characters in context, but not really. Like, they're not holding golf clubs, they're not doing anything. They sit there only to exist to tell you two lines about golf things, not with
Yeah.
Mario spins on those golf things, not with charming little dialogue. It's they're text blocks. They function almost no better than just reading things off of a list. Of course, you have to go off and walk and go up to them and talk to them. But again, I think that's the bare minimum. And my problem is that as someone who doesn't know golf terminology and has never played a golf game before, while they are giving you a lot of tutorials, the tutorials themselves are very sterile. They're grids, they're technical terminology. There's no way for me to ease myself into this with the Mario universe, where they're giving you a fun character that's teaching you this in some sort of emergent way that's got a charm to it or some sort of unique style. It's just technical terminology filtered through a bare bones skin of Mario enemies. And I think that really just takes anything more away from what I might want to get out of it. If there was sort of extra side quests for me to do, secrets in the overworld, things that were slightly more in depth than just go do tutorials over and over again, and not even like tutorials with fun cutscenes and fun areas and fun little power-ups. I would want to go try more, but they're not giving me any reason to want to engage with this other than get to the next area. And when you don't understand golf, and it's not teaching you ways to really understand its craft any better if you're not already experienced with it, there's no extra push. And I'm finding that very frustrating. And as I'm doing this qualifying round over and over again, and trying to find my craft, I keep realizing I did every one of the tutorials and I still can't tell what I'm doing wrong here. Like, I have no idea. Each time does a little bit something wrong. Like, it doesn't give you tips when you're playing to, okay, sort of improve this. It just gives you that text block once and expects you to do it again to understand it better. I don't really think that's a way to get players engaged if they're not already interested in golf.
Yeah, I hear that. I think it's also important to remember that you didn't even make it out of the tutorial area. So I think it's a little bit too early
Sure.
to know if we're going to get those side quests and such, because effectively
Okay,
the
that's
first
true.
area of a game is not supposed to be giving all that. It's supposed to be
Sure.
let's walk you through the first beat. And already when you get into the second area, they're introducing new ways to play golf and they're introducing different things like that. I think the other thing is, frankly, I don't think these mechanics are super complicated. I think it might be a thing where playing some of the other modes might help you just gain a basic familiarity, because
Okay.
ultimately it is hit the decide where you want to shoot on your power gauge, and then decide if you want to curve the ball left or right and then run to the ball. I
Quick
think,
question.
yeah.
I entirely unrelated. What's the point of the second tap of the A button? If it only you can only do it when it's at the top, or like it only
No,
hits
the
when,
point
I
well,
have
the
no
point
idea
of
what's going
that,
on there.
and they do tell you what this does, is that you can push the stick left, right, forwards, backwards to curve your shot left, right, forwards,
During that
backwards.
second
Yeah.
Bouncing thing? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the whole point of that. So you can make your way around obstacles, you can try to take a shortcut through the rough or do all those things. That's where the strategy comes in.
Mhm.
On top of the fact that then there's the sort of interplay between when you hit the ball and running there and drafting the opponents and everything. So I I I I think that maybe golf games just aren't for you, and that's totally fine. But I think that you might be underserving both the information that they're telling you and the fact that there is a little bit more here to grab onto. I will totally meet you halfway and say that I would have loved if they were all wearing little golfing caps and they all
Yeah.
had their golf club bag next to them. But I think that there's a tension that has to be met between having an overworld that's engaging to walk through and just getting you to the gameplay, which is the golf.
Mhm.
And I think that it is nice that sure, it might just be flavor text, but ultimately the fact that I'm just a little bit more immersed by the fact that I have to walk to the holes and I have to do these things adds to the overall experience. Because
Sure.
the problem in Camelot's recent sports games have never been the core mechanics. It's been here are the core mechanics, and then let's just kind of stitch them together. I think the fact that they've made these fully 3D explorable environments, of which we've only seen one, I've seen like one and change, suggests that there was more attention put into making this a larger experience. And I do think that these elements do coalesce in an experience that is more than, like I keep saying, let's just go out and play some golf.
Mhm.
Now, I do have issues with it. I think that the RPG elements are a lot stronger than they have been in Aces particularly, but they feel a little bit arbitrary. Okay, sometimes when I boost my skill, I lose this one, but sometimes it's different. It feels a little bit random
Sure.
how I'm
Yeah.
building my character, and I'll be curious once I get a little bit deeper in how the running between my shots really affects the experience more, because you can knock their balls out of the way, you can draft them, you can get your specials, you can boost past them, and that's all compelling. But I hope there's a little bit more there. The way that the energy gauges in Ace is working already. In the next area, characters are layering on new mechanics with energy and special shots and things, so it's coming. But I have to say, I really don't think the problem with this game is that on a mechanical level, it's either inaccessible or not compelling enough for non-golfers.
My thing is not that the mechanics themselves are not solid. I mean,
Yeah,
the game runs great, it looks great, the sound effects are great. There's nothing wrong with, and I think the golf mechanics itself, it is the fact that it does feel very externally sterile. There's no
okay,
fun environmental details, even in this first world. It's just a human golf course essentially. There isn't there aren't those extra elements that are introducing you to not just golf but Mario Golf. This just
sure.
feels like golf with a Mario skin in a way that to me feels bland, uncreative, sterile. And my problem is not that they're not that the mechanics themselves aren't great, but that they're not giving me a reason to want to engage with those mechanics in any particular way.
Yeah,
When they're teaching you the tutorials, as I was saying, it is just technical golf term. Here's what this term means. This is the term. Here's what it means. Done. That's it. It's all as basic as it can come. And I just and maybe it is just that golf isn't for me, but my main issue isn't that I don't understand golf, is that I don't feel like they're giving me a reason to want to be interested in golf. And I find that very frustrating when sure this might be the most immersed anyone's ever been in a golf game, but it's still not enough. And I think that's a really big issue when I'm
sure.
walking around the environment. I'm like, well, why does this exist? Okay, to have an environment, but why is that important? It feels empty. It feels uninspired, and it just feels like the bare minimum that I could have done.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from to an extent. I think that they could have, again, speaking from the perspective of the first area, just had some more Mario flavor. I
Yeah,
think that's definitely fair, but at the same time, I think this is intrinsically Mario themed. Mario is about bringing action and party elements into these sports. At the
okay,
core of a Mario sports game is taking an arcadey version of the sport and making it more action focused, making it more wacky. And I think inherently the new modes Camelot has introduced, speed golf, battle golf, they do that. And we see in the trailer, which we've not yet experienced, because again, we're in the first area of the story, that there are the items you can use. We see like Ice Luigi running around. There
Yeah.
are those things. So maybe it's a matter of the story mode is not connecting right off the bat. So check out speed golf, check out in the play golf menu, let's check
Yeah.
out battle golf and see, because I think that those might be servicing what you're looking for if you're willing to look for them. Again, if golf is just not your thing, then that's fine, because I actually feel a similar way to you when I play Mario Strikers, which people
Sure.
really love.
Hmm.
But for me, as somebody who doesn't really engage with soccer, I just find it a little bit more frustrating, even in spite of the fact that I see what they've added with power ups, I see what they've added with the aesthetic, I see
Yeah.
why the
Sure.
game is put together the way it is. There's just a disconnect for me, because I
Yeah.
think that at the very basics of soccer is a sport that I didn't really grow up with, I didn't really play, I don't really have a connection to, so I don't enjoy it in the same way. But just because I don't have that connection doesn't mean that Next Level Games didn't apply the fundamental design philosophy, intrinsic elements of a Mario sports game to the
Sure.
experience.
Yeah.
And so my issues, frankly, are not with anything I've played so far in Super Rush, but what I'll be playing later. Is it
Okay.
going? Am I going to run out of content? Am I going to feel that the
Hmm.
package is too flat? Are they gonna pad out the story mode too much? Those are my sort of criticisms, because I wanted golf that is more arcadey, that has this wacky Mario recontextualization on it, and I think that's exactly what we got. And I saw Camelot adding more to their adventure mode,
Hmm.
retooling their RPG elements to actually have an effect on gameplay. I think they did a really good job so far. A lot of my issues are tail end right now, I suppose.
Sure. Yeah. And of course, I think as someone who is more experienced with the Mario Sports series in general, thinking back, this might be the first time I've played more than just a round of Mario Tennis or something like that.
Yeah,
I have no experience with those other Mario sports games, and so I have nothing to compare them to. So not only am I a golf beginner, but I'm a Mario sports beginner. And when I'm thinking of Mario games, my real comparison outside of platformers is Mario Kart, where
yeah,
everything is Mario themed. It's insane environments. It's all the characters you could want and power ups and everything. And I guess that's what essentially I'm comparing it to. And I thought, and maybe I could have set my expectations a little better if I paid attention better to the trailers, but that it would be a little more unique in that regard.
sure,
And I think in the end, my frustration with golf aside, because you're right, is I'm not familiar with that formula. I have no interest in the gameplay because I don't know how golf works. Uh, all of that aside, I think that the package in general feeling sterile to me is external from that. And I wish that I would be more engaged to want to enjoy golf, but there isn't enough of an inventive Mario veneer to
sure.
to make me feel like they put in the effort to not just make this a golf game but a Mario golf game. And I'm sitting on the toilet peeing right before we record this video, and the thoughts are running through my mind of, okay, like, make Mario mini golf where there's all sorts of crazy contraptions that you have
Sure.
to worry about, and like, or there's different different effects you can apply to your ball like right away and stuff like that. Like, I think that a Mario Golf game to me ideally would be less about the golf and more about the Mario, and just using hitting a ball with a stick as its mode of transportation to
Yeah.
get you to inventive level mechanics and a stronger sense of place in terms of the story. Because when we think about it, of course there is an overworld and there are characters, but they are just generic Mario enemies. The story adventure mode is you're a rookie on your way. Like, it's the most basic possible way for an adventure mode to exist. And I think the fact that they just went with that bare bones minimum is underwhelming to me. I'm going to try some multiplayer. I have my brother, I've got my roommate, and maybe with other people I'll feel a little better about it. But I'm gonna try my best to beat the qualifying round, but I really have no idea. Maybe I'll go try some of the other tutorials, but it's just crazy to me how I got like 100% on all the tutorials,
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, okay, I've got this down. I head to the qualifying round and I can't even get close to escaping that first thing. And I think there's got to be some sort of disconnect there because it does not feel like a gradual, like essentially difficulty scale. I really don't know how to describe it.
Wait. So hold on. You do the tutorials and you do like 3 holes with them, right? Is that what you're stuck on?
No, no,
No, you.
the qualifying thing where there's two CPUs and you have to do
Yeah.
9 holes
Okay.
and get less than +4.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I've never been able to do.
You'll get if you well here's the thing, unless Yoshi has you in the super scope sights off of the edge of the camera,
Hmm.
who really gives a fuck if you play more of it or not, right? If anything, maybe it might be more worth your time to try a Mario Tennis Aces or try a different sport in the Mario sports selection and see if that
Sure.
appeals
Yeah.
to you more. I mean, if it's more a matter of wanting to play a Mario sports game, go the sport that attracts you more, right?
Hmm.
But I don't know. I really enjoy it, and I totally get what you're saying. And a big criticism that I had about the game prior to release, especially after I believe it was called Island Tour was a 3DS one, I believe. No,
World Tour.
World Tour. Island
Yeah.
Tour is a Mario Party on 3DS.
Hmm.
That was uh, more so than Toadstool Tour, more so than the N64 one.
Sure.
Mario
Yes.
areas and everything. And I played the demo of that and I enjoyed it. So I missed that a little bit here, but for me, I just think that the core gameplay is really, really strong. And I feel like I haven't talked about it too much because we've been kind of talking about the structure and everything. But I really do think that there is a great satisfaction here
Hmm.
that makes golf more engaging. I think part of the fun having played a lot of Wii Sports, back a long time ago was, holy fuck, how can I hit this ball in a way that's gonna get me to the hole in a way I wasn't supposed to? Let's turn my
Sure.
knee around and shoot through the trees and figure stuff out. I think that there's a lot of room for freestyling in this game,
Hmm.
which isn't really what you'd expect out of a golf game. The way, okay, I'm gonna follow the way, I'm gonna curve my shot, I'm gonna end up there, and then I'm going to literally sprint from the tee box over to my ball, and I'm going to hit my opponents out of the way. I'm going to draft this one. I'm going to cut in front of them. I'm going to steal the coins. I'm going to kick their ball out of the way. I'm going to run up there, and then I'm going to chip it over here. And that's really fun. That's kinetic. That's interesting. That's a new way
Hmm.
to play golf. And I
Yeah.
and I think that is worthy of praise. But of course, like I say, my issues with the game are going to crop up if they crop up 12 hours from now,
Okay.
when I'm 15 hours into the game and I have completed story mode and I'm just playing golf. And am I still going to want to be playing then? And that's really my question, because I don't foresee myself, unless the story mode is padded to high fuck,
I've heard you can beat it in 4 hours, 5 hours.
then it's probably going to be totally serviceable. Unless the story mode takes a drastic turn for the worse and they stop introducing new ideas, which they already are when you get to the second
Hmm.
area.
Sure. Yeah.
I think that this is going to be Camelot addressing a lot of its previous criticisms. But again, I think you're right. The courses should have and could have been more detailed.
Hmm.
That was a problem in Aces. There could have and should have been more side modes, like a mini golf mode. That was an
Sure.
issue in Aces.
Hmm.
So I feel frustrated as somebody who played 50 hours of that game, who has really enjoyed Mario sports games on the Wii and the N64 and everything,
Yeah.
that Camelot didn't completely stick the landing. But I think, again, for me, they're skating by on the fact that the game just feels so great to play.
Sure.
I think it does. And I think they really have something fun here with this core formula. I just need that package to hold up. And that's what we'll find out, I suppose.
Yeah, and as I play more of the game, because regardless of my frustration with the initial appearance, I do think that there are other things to be introduced to. I mean, actually,
Yeah.
there are other courses to see. That I know they introduce slightly more interesting, level gimmicks that fuck with your ball and stuff. And of course, there are the power ups. There's battle golf. There's larger speed golf. There's multiplayer. I have more to engage with, and I should be able to find at least some fun there. My worry is just externally of anything I've experienced, the people that have played tons of Mario sports games and love Mario Golf are concerned about this game in terms of large scope things that obviously I can't speak to personally. There being less courses than there were in past games, and even I think in the first game there's less courses than there are, but there are more holes, but there's no local 4-player multiplayer. There are a lot of things that do feel like they were just cut for no reason. They're like
Sure.
downgrades from previous entries, and of course I never played them, so I can't tell you if that's a major issue or not, but a lot of them seem like things that shouldn't be issues for a
Yeah.
next generation full $60 title that is being pushed as the summer game for Nintendo Switch, at least at the moment. So I mean, you'll probably be able to speak to those on a little bit of a large scale. We can play the game when you're here in a few weeks, but
Yeah.
and maybe you can give me some pointers that will connect a little better to me than fucking Goomba number 3 telling me that I gotta pay attention to the terrain a little better. But that's all in the future.
I want to
I'll,
intercede with one point because
yes,
I think you're on the ball there in terms of those cut features. I think that my biggest issue with the game in the moment, not
yes,
future projecting,
hmm
and I mentioned it very briefly at the beginning, is that Nintendo obviously didn't give Camelot a very big budget for this game.
sure,
And I think that makes sense. Mario sports games have always been B tier series for
hmm
Nintendo. Um, so this is par for the course. I think people have this weird rosy view of these games when in actuality, even the GameCube ones, which are fan favorites and I really enjoy a lot of, scored middling, scored is about where we are. You know, you look at
sure,
Mario
okay,
baseball games, which I love, they're high 60s on Metacritic, low 70s. And so I think that talking about a heyday of Mario sports games is kind of complicated when
sure,
ultimately, really, what was that? What was the resonance beyond the hardcore circles? And as someone who really enjoys these sports games, I think Camelot delivered what we wanted. I just think that Nintendo is not looking at them with the ambition that they could.
yes,
I
and I
mean,
think that's totally
yeah,
reasonable. Yeah,
and NBA 2K, FIFA, Madden, different, annualized, but fucking enormous. And I think that there is a parallel in the Nintendo space where Nintendo puts that kind of AAA budget and effort into these games, and they become huge and they become evergreen,
hmm
and not just be B tier releases.
yeah,
So I think in the context of being a B tier Mario Golf game, I'm having a lot of fun and I don't
sure.
have major issues. But I think you're totally right about kind of wondering what could have been.
Yeah, and that's all future projection. And I guess at that point you blame it on Nintendo not necessarily
Yeah.
understanding what the series could be. But it's still things that aren't in the game, and I think that's worthy of criticism. Maybe not on the part of the developer, but the publisher. It's hard to say at that point, but I'm probably gonna head back downstairs and give it another shot. I've had a breather now. I played it 5 times in a row. So my me is fucking like level to 20 something now. Because you do get a lot of experience even when you lose.
Sure. Which is
But
good. That's good.
sure.
That's exactly feeding into what you need because then you get more power, you curve your shots better.
hmm
I will say once you beat those 9, you have to do the back 9 also.
What do you mean? What does that mean?
Well, because golf courses have 18 holes, so you're gonna play 9, you're gonna take a break for the night, and then you have to do the back 9.
That's part of that specific challenge
Yeah, but you get to break. You get a break after 9.
to do
But you're
what?
to just basically to have a break. Your character goes to sleep for the night. So if you
Oh,
fuck
okay.
up, you
I
can
thought you
redo it.
meant I have to go to sleep.
No, 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 no.
I was very fucking confused.
Also, just so you know, I got 1 under par on 18.
On eight, wait, hold on.
On 18 holes, I got
Is
1
that
under par.
is that you have to do less than 4 for 18 holes,
I
or is it
don't know.
another 4?
It's another 4, I believe.
Okay, okay.
Because like
God
fucking
damn.
Pink Yoshi was at plus 10. I was beating his ass.
Sure.
Charge and Chuck gave me a little. By the way, I love the Charge and Chuck is in this game.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I have to push
Fantastic.
back also. I will just say I like that Birdo is like your dorm mother. I like that you got Charge and Chuck and Birdo and Boo.
Mhm.
Again, they are the standard archetypes of these characters, but it
Yeah.
could have been here's Red Toad, Yellow Toad, and Blue Toad, and they're walking around
Sure.
with you.
Yeah.
But also, I just want to say I'm kind of cracked at this game. Fucking chipped it right into the hole. Fucking, I'm good at Mario Golf apparently. I'll tell you right now, I'm cracked at this game. Do you want to say anything else?
No, I think I've said my piece.
Well, I have too. I'll be talking about this game. It seems like a review with both of us might not be in the cards in the future, but it'll
Mhm.
definitely be on BLB. Maybe I'll whip something up myself, but probably not. I don't really like reviewing games, to be honest with you.
In general?
No, not really. I prefer doing it this way opposed to doing a written review or whatever. But
Sure.
ultimately, like I'd rather talk about it like, hey, how's compared to other Mario sports games? Have like a conversation, whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
Whatever.
That's what
But
our reviews are. So.
yeah. But if you're not gonna be there, I don't want to do it myself and like fuck Try my nice.
I
Yeah,
got you.
it's a whole to do. But I like the game. I'm gonna be playing a lot more of it. I think we're done. Thanks for joining us. Tell us what you think of Mario Golf in the Discord. We'll talk to you later. See you. All right.
That ring light looks great in your glasses.
Yeah, I know. I gotta take them off. It's very frustrating. It didn't happen in my other pair.
How's that even physically possible?
I don't know. I don't know if these are more reflective lenses or what the
Did
deal
you get
is.
new glances? Can't tell.
I mean, it's the same style.
Oh, okay.
So.
You got new lenses? Did they go in and go boink and push them out, and then go shoink and put them in?
No, it's the same prescription, just a different pair. Me other ones fell apart.
Were you going like